we go. There's two like very flat cones back here. And then there's two in here too. As those cones like go together, the belt that's on it will ride up or down depending on how close they are. Over in here, those weights are in there, and so when they spin, the weights will push out, and they actually, hopefully it'll make sense in a minute, as the weights get thrown out by the centrifugal force of the engine moving, the weights go out and they push those cones together. So while the belt is like it's around the smallest part of those two cones right now, as they get pushed out, the belt will get bigger over here and pull the belt into these cones. And so it starts with like low gear and then eventually gets to like high gear. Boy. So basically it's there. I'm gonna put that and that. And down that. Nut. Regular washer. Kickstart washer. Then fins. Push the belt off to the side for a minute there. The variator is just loosened. It's not connected to the engine. And as it spins, these rollers push out. Since they have ramps, they don't just go out, but they go out and up,
which pushes that.
Pushes the plate, and it pushes the variator into the drive phase. So you can see how the belt would be here, and as it pushed, it would be forced there, taking up more length, which means it's got to get that length from somewhere, and it pulls it into this pulley, which is spring actuated. So as it pulls it in there, it'll separate those, and they're held together by a big spring. So, but these are super heavy. These should be 17 gram, and it means that they're pulling that belt to a big circle really quick. And I think that if we go lower, it won't do it quite so quickly.
So you just buy those weights as a little set? Like.
And actually Buzzy, who works down in Texas at Ruck City, we've been talking about finding a variator for this, and I've helped him a bunch, and he actually sent me. So like, it is pricey to like $60 to get all three to tune, but hopefully
so find your sweet spot.
Yeah. When I change these weights, I will see a higher RPM earlier on. My belief is that 15 is going to be probably just about perfect for the current stock setup.
But you want to step down to like show the process?
Yeah, and to find because then you don't really know if you've peaked until you see it go back down on the other side. Yeah, and then you're like, oh, now take a step back to what was best. That, and then make sure that these little plastic guides don't come off of the back plate. Put that in like so. Hold that together. Put the boss in there, but if you push too hard on the boss, it's going to push the back plate out, and then your rollers can come up and around, and you got to reset them. So, put the boss in there lightly. Get that on there like that. And the belt on it's kind of good, so we're going to put it on a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it, and it'll draw it into that rear pulley. Now I have more room, because you really, really, really need these splines to go on there perfectly and go all the way against the. So there's a little bit more room in there. Belt gets in the way. Make sure it's all the way on there. I'm going to run it without that plate for a minute, so it's easy to get off. The kickstart washer has to go on because it covers up the splines. If you were to put the regular washer and nut on without the kickstart washer, it would actually touch the splines, wreck them, and that's the part that is needed to spin this drive phase. which I've seen people do. They're like, oh, I have an open cover, I'm just gonna like not do that or whatever, and they wreck their splines, and then their drive face will rattle around in there because it's not really tight, and basically you would have to replace the whole crankshaft, which means disassembling the engine. Most people need to just buy another bike or engine at that point. This starter motor, this goes to the starter motor that spins this to start the engine. It's loose. So that needs to be held on with the CVT cover. Oh, there's little gaps for that to fit into. Oh, here's the kickstart, which, if it's not touching the engine, always tries to push out because like a worm, it's a wormy gear. Okay. Is that still on back there?
Mm-hmm.
Stupid bracket. I'm gonna tell him that I fucking hate that bracket. You're on. Okay. Those are the airbox screws. Then there's two long ones, which hold the majority of the bolt on, and then this extra bracket is that last short one. So, two, not easy to fuck up. That one's behind there, so I can make sure you get that one done well before you put this other bracket on, because I'm pretty sure I got that one tight. It can't go much of anywhere right now with the bracket in front of it, but what I'm going to do is I am not going to put on the thing that really, really holds it in there, because it's not going to matter much. I'm not getting anything wet or anything anyway. Oh yeah, a lot of threads.